Hello, this is Simracing Corner. Okay, I've never made a video like this where I've recorded myself while driving or playing any game like this, so I'm a little bit nervous. So do excuse me. I'm probably going to be a bit of a mess, and but I'll give it a go. You've got to try these things, right? Okay, so the reason for this video, there was a patch last night for the beta for Automobilista 2, and I only had a short time to test that out. And if you've been watching my channel for the past week, you know I've been using a G29, but you can see here I've got my direct drive wheel back on. And one of the problems I had initially, as did every other direct drive wheel owner, was it wasn't possible to get the wheel alignment angle correct. So when you turn the wheel, it was just basically off in the game. It wasn't kind of working right. So from after that first experience, I decided to use that G29. And it works pretty well actually. It's a G29. It works for everything, right? So that was okay. But one thing I wasn't happy with for the first week of the game was the force feedback was a little bit kind of funky. It just wasn't very informative. You had tension to the wheel, but it just wasn't really giving a lot of delicate force feedback, and it's difficult for me to understand if it was because I was using a G29, because obviously it's a lower fidelity, because I installed that G29 for AMS2, and I hadn't actually used that G29 before it was in the box, so I pulled it out for that reason. So now I've had the chance now to try it with my direct drive wheel. But the other thing about the patch is a 600 meg patch. I wasn't able to find any patch notes, because that would have been interesting to see what they've actually changed in it. But I'll cover a couple of things when we get on track. But first I'll show you what I did notice in the changes in the menus here. If we go to the car vehicle selection, there was some on here. There were some kind of blanks on here. Although they had cars here, they had some of these things were just missing the graphics. So the icons are now all there. The other thing I noticed as well was sometimes there's kind of missing details here. It had the wrong details there. It might say like 0 on some of these things here. So that seems to be all corrected. When we go to all these, that's all been filled in. So it's kind of tidied up that element. It didn't really matter that that wasn't there, but it certainly looks tidier now. But the main thing is the force feedback is changed, and I'm going to go on a track now. And let me just find out. I want to go back to the sprint cars. Where are they? Come on, sprint cars. I know you're here. There you go. Sprint race cars. There you go. I love these things. They're really good. And I'm going to drive on Donington. The reason I'm going back to that track is one of the first ones I tried before, and I remember I have kind of vivid memories of how the force feedback was just not communicating information very well to me. I was just having difficulty understanding what the car was doing, and I had to do a bit of guesswork. And I have to tell you, things have just massively changed now. The force feedback is absolutely fantastic, and you'll be able to see it. Watch the wheel when we're moving around. Just watch how the weight of the wheel is changing and how it fights me on the track. So I'm going to probably be pretty bad at this driving in this session, because honestly, driving and speaking is a skill I have not established very well yet. But so I'm just going to drive along a bit. I won't say anything for a bit because I'm just going to crash on the corners, and then I'll pick up in a moment. So yeah, just observe the wheel, because what you'll see is how although you can see me moving the wheel, I'm reacting to the that kind of weight of the wheel changing as I go around corners, and I'm able to adjust my inputs more accurately, which I wasn't before. Because actually, when I go around corners, I can actually feel how the wheel is, is kind of pushing against me, and as I go over bumps, and how I when I brake and when I put the throttle down, particularly around corners where you're kind of trying to push it and trying to find that limit. The wheel is reacting to me. I feel in tune with what the car is doing, and I feel much more comfortable with being able to kind of drive, not just by using my eyes now, which I was previously, but I'm doing it by feel. And that was one of the great things about Automobilista, the original game, is you had so much delicate kind of feel through the wheel. That you're just you're kind of going around the track, and you're just driving by the feel of the force feedback. And you especially notice that on a direct drive wheel, where obviously you have high fidelity, and more delicate force feedback cues can get felt through get passed through to the wheel. But yeah, I have to say, this is the difference is massive, and I sort of like understand what the car's doing now, and that's a difference I didn't have before. It's really, really nice. And even actually, I have to say, when I tried the G29 last night, because that's when the patch dropped, I noticed the force feedback on that wheel had improved as well. Clearly it's much nicer on the direct drive wheel, because you just feel everything, because obviously with a G29 the lower end force feed effects are just lost. It just isn't able to kind of push that through, but I have to say it's doing a pretty good job. Actually, I'm quite impressed by the G29. I've used it for basically about a week, and for a budget wheel, it's actually pretty good. And I was starting to get into it and getting used to it, and actually quite enjoying sim racing with it. So yeah, not a bad wheel. I do plan to review the G29, so I guess it's a good time to get started on it and do some tests. But it probably, with AMS 2 before the patch, probably wasn't the best example for me. I should have tried it in some other games as well, but I have been focusing, obviously my entire week actually, when I'm doing sim racing, on Automobilista 2. I realise a lot of people haven't bought the beta because it's like $100, just over $100, so like 90 odd quid. It's not for everyone, to take that chance, and I understand that. So I've been kind of putting out these videos for a lot of chaps out there who haven't kind of bought into it yet, into the early backer campaign. From what I understand, actually, I think you can still buy into it if you really want to. And I have to say, last week I would have probably said no to anyone dropping their money down onto it. But this morning, now I'm trying it with the new force feedback, I'd say yeah, it's worth it now. I'm really enjoying it. I have to say, it feels great. I'm really liking it. So yeah, I'll continue making my dropping out those videos out there. I'll try. I think I'm doing about a couple a day at the moment of just different cars, different tracks, and just smashing it out. So I do apologise if you're getting a bit bored of that, but I think it's only going to be for the next I guess 2 or 3 weeks actually. I'll be probably focusing most of my attention on Automobilista 2. Partly because I'm enjoying playing it now, and I'm going to do more of it. So so you're gonna have to put up with that. But I am recording some other stuff at the moment as well on the side. I do have some tutorials and reviews coming up, which I'm not going to put out yet. I'm just kind of trying to space things out, so I just have a regular amount of content I can put out on the channel. The AI, one thing I will say actually, the AI hasn't improved. I did do a quick test on some tracks, on some things I tried before where the AI was a bit flaky, and although the AI is doing really well on this one, there's actually some cars where the AI actually is behaving really well. Obviously they're not very quick on this because I've set the the difficult level to be about medium, so about 60. I think it goes up to 120, so it's about halfway. So I'm not trying to challenge myself at the moment with this, and particularly when I was having difficulty with the force feedback, I wasn't driving as effectively as I know I could in say Automobilista, and I think so. I actually had to put the AI down so I could feel competitive, but you know, I'm killing it here. I've got no problem actually smashing through the through this track and being a lot faster than the AI. It'd be good if I did some track times actually and looked at the before and after, because I have to say I'm pretty sure I'm significantly faster now because I just have such a better idea where the car's going. Yeah. The other thing I'm looking forward to actually is I hope they get the telemetry output working, so I can get the motion seat working, get my little gadgets working, my displays. Because I'm looking over there at the moment, I'm finding it a little bit I have to say I'm finding it a little bit more tricky to know when to shift, because it's not really clear. Obviously I've got that in front of me, but even so, I prefer it when I'm using my little external displays. I just find it much more easier to glance at those. But this is excellent. Yeah, and hopefully you're just observing this wheel, because I know it's certainly more lively, and I'm making much more mini corrections. You know, I can feel I can push the car harder, and it's so much more fun when you are kind of really going beyond the limit, trying to find find that kind of the edge of the grip, and being able to kind of just, obviously I just overdid it there. I need to give that place back. Come on then. There you go. One thing you also notice is if you've played Project Cars 2, it's using the it's currently using the penalty system, and you can see things like that where it's telling me to give places back or slow down, and it is quite a flawed system, because if you kind of abuse the AI and cheat a bit, you have to, obviously, you get penalised. But if the AI smashes into you, they have a free pass basically on their infractions. So it's a bit unfair. In fact, it's completely unfair. So that's a bit of a shame why that is. But maybe Reeza will sort that out and either change the penalty system completely, take it out, or just revise it to make it a little bit more balanced. But yeah, this is awesome. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely try some other stuff after this. Not in this video. I'm just gonna run this video to the end, which is what, a 10-minute race I've set it to. That's my usual. And I'll just carry on driving this for a bit. So continue watching if you like. Maybe I'll say a few more words in a moment, but I'm just going to enjoy this, because at the moment, when I'm talking, it is very difficult to race, and I have to say, and I'm probably sound like some sort of babbling, mumbling mess, but I didn't really want to record this again, so I'm going to put it out as it is, because just why not? I have to say, I am impressed by the guys that have able to kind of use their brain and to race well and also chat, because it is actually really difficult to concentrate on both things. Because when I'm thinking about racing, I know suddenly my speech centres are kind of losing IQ points and I'm babbling like an idiot, and when I'm thinking about concentrating when I'm chatting, I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing on the track. So it's oh dear. So yeah, I guess maybe it's a learned skill. I don't think I'm going to be doing any streaming anytime soon with racing, because it's really difficult. It really is difficult. But maybe if I do more of this, I will get better at it. But who knows, this is just a bit of a trial doing a video like this. I've got a bit of a busy day later, so I didn't really want to do some pre-recorded stuff and then doing a voiceover afterwards. I just thought I'm just going to smash this out. If it's terrible, then it is what it is. But I figured it'd be nice for you guys out there, the subs, to actually see me, see what I look like, and just see the freak behind the camera, I suppose. But anyway, so that's the end of that race. I hope there's something in the video which helped, because I think I was probably a bit of a gibbering kind of mess, actually. Trying to describe anything, but okay. So just I guess to summarise, then I have to say that the force feedback is it gives you a much more delicate feel. You can feel what's happening now. The weight of the wheel is much more is giving you is informative where it wasn't before. You can just feel how the wheel is fighting against you when you're cornering or under braking or just oversteer and understeer. It just you just have a clear understanding of what's happening on track now. Very much like Automobilista 1. I wouldn't say the force feedback is identical to Automobilista 1, but I have to say this is, at the moment, from what I can tell, it's on par with the quality. So it may not feel exactly identical, but it's as good as, in as much as it's informative enough to help me understand what the car's doing. It makes me enjoy the game as well. I've really enjoyed that. It was difficult for me to really appreciate it, because I was obviously trying to chat away, but it was really good. So yeah, after this I'm going to close this video, upload it, and play a bit more Automobilista 2, because it is fun. And so watch out for more videos on that. I will look at VR next. That's my next kind of target. I'll do a VR video and cover that. So I haven't tried it yet, but I figure it's going to be absolutely fine. But I'll go into more detail in that video with what it's like, performance, show you how it works on my setup, and we'll go from there. But okay, guys, well, thanks for watching, and sorry about the quality of my this video. I know it's probably a bit dodgy, but I gave it a shot. That's all I can really say. But okay, well, thanks for watching. Take care. Happy simming, of course, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye bye.